You ever wonder what really happens to get that package to your front door in record time? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on e-commerce. And what we're going to find, it's not just a bunch of vans and warehouses. Nope, it's a puzzle, a computational puzzle so mind-bendingly complex, it's actually forcing us into a totally new era of technology. So let's get right into it and unpack how this all works.
So think about the last thing you bought online. I don't know, maybe it was a new pair of headphones or maybe just some groceries. You click that buy button and a few days, maybe even just hours later, boom, it's on your doorstep. Seems pretty simple, right?
Well, it turns out that behind that one simple click, you actually kicked off this incredibly complex chain of events. It's a massive puzzle that involves thousands of other packages, hundreds of different drivers, and a nearly infinite number of possible routes, and all of it is changing in real time.
And this gets us to the absolute heart of modern e-commerce, what we're calling the delivery puzzle. How in the world do companies get millions of items from point A to point B as fast and as cheap as they possibly can? Well, the answer is in a field called logistics optimization.
Logistics optimization. It's basically the science of making supply chains run like a perfectly oiled machine. It's all about finding the single best way to manage all the routing, all the scheduling, and all the resources to get that package into your hands. You're always searching for that perfect balance between speed, cost, and efficiency.
So what makes this so ridiculously hard? Okay, look at it this way. On one hand, you've got a simple routing problem. A single delivery van with just a handful of stops. Any normal computer can solve that in a flash, no problem. But then, you've got the reality of e-commerce. This is what's known as an NP-hard problem. And here's what that means. For just a few stops, you could literally map out every possible route on a napkin. But for 1,000 stops, the number of possible routes is, well, it's bigger than the number of atoms in the entire known universe. No joke. That's an NP-hard problem. And it's where even our biggest, baddest supercomputers just start to buckle.
And this is where our story takes a serious sci-fi turn. I mean, if today's computers are basically hitting a brick wall, what's the solution? Well, the answer might come from a completely different, almost alien kind of machine, a quantum computer. So what exactly is quantum computing? All right, imagine you're stuck in a giant maze. A normal, classical computer, it would try one path, hit a dead end, then go all the way back and try another one, and another, and another. A quantum computer, though, thanks to this wild principle called superposition, it can explore every single path, all at the same time. It's not just about being faster, it's a completely different way to solve the puzzle. For our delivery problem, it's like being able to see that one single perfect route out of trillions of possibilities all at once, instantly.
The potential impact here is it's enormous. We are talking about hyper-efficient route planning that can dodge traffic in real time. We're talking about smarter warehouses that practically know what you're going to order before you do. And, maybe most importantly, a massive, massive drop in fuel consumption and carbon emissions. This isn't just about getting your stuff faster. It's about doing it in a much smarter and greener way.
Now look, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But what do the people who actually work in logistics day in and day out think about all this? Well, a recent study went out and asked them that exact question. Let's see what they found out.
So, researchers went out and surveyed 313 logistics professionals. These are the people on the front lines, supply chain managers, operations directors, you name it, to get their real-world take on the promise of quantum tech.
And this diagram here, it shows the core idea that they were testing. Basically, does bringing in quantum computing lead to better logistics optimization? And then, does that better optimization actually lead to better business performance? You know, things like better efficiency and better sustainability. Okay, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. Just look at these numbers. When asked about logistics optimization, the pros rated quantum's potential at a 4.25 out of 5. Now, compare that to current AI, just 3.78. That is a huge difference. It's a massive vote of confidence for quantum. And you see that same kind of gap for efficiency and for sustainability. The people who actually do this for a living, yeah, they're pointing to a clear winner on the horizon.
This quote, which kind of brings together what a bunch of experts said in their interviews, it really just nails it. We're not talking about small, tiny improvements here. The experts expect quantum models to fundamentally outperform the AI we have now, which would lead to supply chains that are way more precise and way more predictive.
So if this technology is so revolutionary, you've got to be asking, why aren't all my packages being delivered by quantum computers already? Well, that's a fair question. The experts also pointed out some pretty major hurdles we still have to get over.
Yeah, the road to a quantum future is, well, it's a long one.
and it's bumpy. The costs to implement this stuff are astronomical. The hardware itself, it's still basically in its infancy. Plus, there's a huge global shortage of people who have the skills to even connect quantum physics to logistics. Then you've got to worry about major cybersecurity risks, and the fact that we need to invent a whole new set of algorithms just for these machines. So, you can see, we've got a ways to go.
So what does the path forward actually look like? How do we get from where we are today with all these challenges to that future of smarter, greener deliveries?
Well, the most likely path isn't going to be some giant leap. It's going to be a series of steps. So step 1, companies are going to keep getting better and better at using today's AI. Then comes what might be the most important part, step 2, hybrid models. These are systems that will combine the predictive power of classical AI with the incredible optimization speed of quantum computers, but only for very specific, high-stakes tasks. And then, finally, we'll see full adoption, but only when the tech is ready and the talent is there.
And look, the reward for getting this right is just massive. We're not just looking at a future with faster deliveries and lower costs, which is great for business. We're also looking at a future with way lower carbon emissions and way less wasted fuel for the entire planet. It's one of those rare win-wins that could totally redefine what the word efficient even means.
So, we're left with this really fascinating question. Is quantum computing the final piece of the puzzle we need for a truly sustainable, hyper-efficient future for e-commerce? Or are the enormous costs and the huge technical challenges going to keep it as just a distant dream for a long, long time? The race to figure that out is officially on.